Hey everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at how the Hollywood Rack's Destination E bike rack for your electric bikes fits on the 2023 Cadillac XT4. So if you have heavy electric bikes, and with the XT4 the hitch receiver is a little bit higher up, so for most of your bikes you're going to have to be lifting those heavy bikes a little bit high. This is going to help out with that. You do get a ramp included with this rack that will help you with getting the bikes up and onto your rack, and that way you can get to your destination. This is going to be a quick look at how it works on the XT4. The first feature we'll be taking a look at is the tilt away feature. So the hatch door on the XT4 isn't that big, but if you want to open up your hatch with your bikes on, you're going to have to tilt the whole rack away. So this is a little unique. There's a knob in the center. Once that knob is released, you then have enough time to just figure out the best position for you. I like to use the car as a brace as I push this out, and then it goes down 180 degrees. This gives you a lot of clearance to open up your hatch. See how much distance we have there between the door and the rack. And now we can grab things like our waters, our helmets, our backpacks, change our shoes, all without having to remove those heavy bikes. So there's plenty of clearance between the rack and the vehicle just to make this easier for you. Some people like to lift from the bottom. I like to lift from up here. Whichever works for you. You just need to get it into place and tighten down that center bolt, and then you're ready to hit the road again. So this has pretty much the most weight capacity for a bike rack that also has a ramp. You have 70 pounds per bike weight capacity. Now with that being tilted away, you can notice that the bikes are at pretty much 180 degrees. So with that, you have a lot of touch points holding your bikes down. With our bike here, there's 1, 2, 3 straps plus our frame mount. So when you want to take the bike off, you start at the straps. These are easier to access from the back. You just press the lever, lift up on the strap, and I like to pivot them underneath the rack so it doesn't get caught up in the spokes. So there's going to be 1, 2, and 3. The straps are extra long because this bike rack can carry tire widths of up to 4.5 inches. So the ramp design is designed to go for the rear tire. So in our case, we're parked up against the wall, so we can't utilize the ramp. That's something worth considering when you're parked wherever you're ready to go for a ride. This clips right into, or I guess sits right into the tabs on the rack. This is not stored on the bike rack though. You're gonna have to keep it inside your car, in your trunk, your hatch, wherever. And that way when you're ready to go, you just bring it out. With the straps released, you then are able to unlock your frame mount. This is lockable, by the way. So with that unlocked, you just twist this knob to release it from the frame. Bring this up and over. I'm going to use the ramp on the other side real quick, just to show you how it glides down. Now these straps secure into the bike rack. It will take a little bit of time to put things away. You're gonna have to put this back into your car. Compared to the Yakima on-ramp, where the ramp stores on the rack, this is something you should not forget. We know what types of bikes can fit on here, but what about the bike rack when it comes to measurements? I like to measure from our bumper to the end of the rack, and that sits at around 29 inches. Well, now your handlebars will take up a little bit more space than that, but that's a good baseline for if you need to park inside a really small garage or back into a really tight spot. For ground clearance, there's a lot of that. So the end of the rack to the ground is 21.5 inches. The center of the rack to the ground is 24.5 inches, so a little over 2 feet. That's a lot. For the XT4, your hitch receiver is about 15.5 inches up off the ground. So that is a lot of weight to lift your bike racks up, and this is why the ramp is very helpful. If you want to move this into the portable position though, there is a little bit of a process to it. First you need to remove these straps, and then you can flip these levers down, which then allows you to put this mass down. You are going to have to use your hook and loop straps to secure your frame mount in the ideal position, and then you put those levers back in and put those straps back on. Now remove this clip and pin, which is over by your shank. And with that removed, you're then able to lift up on the rack, move it into the folded position, and pop that pin right back in. Quick measurements here. It looks like it comes close, but there's actually plenty of clearance between the rack and the vehicle. Closest point is from that door, about 3 inches of clearance. Now the length is now adds to the back of the car. Bumper, end of rack, about 12¼ inches. So if you're just driving around town, don't want to take up too much space, or if you need to store your rack inside of your garage on its own, this is how you do it. Now, what is it like living with a bike rack behind you all the time? Well, with it folded up like this, yes, it takes up less space, but you do cover some things. Your taillights will still be visible. You'll see through most of your rear view window, although you will definitely see this part of the frame. Funny thing is, the cutout sits right where your license plate is, so that's going to be visible. Plus, your backup camera sits in that cutout too. So when you go into reverse, you will see the bike rack, but you'll also be able to see if there's any cars or people behind you. So this will fit into your 2-inch hitch receiver. And this did not have a hitch, so one was installed onto it. So you can find that here at eTrailer. If you don't already have a hitch receiver, be mindful that with a weight capacity of 70 pounds per bike, it can be tricky to get those bikes up that high. So this definitely helps out with that. You are just going to have to deal with all of the different straps and the process of loading your bike. If you don't need that much of a weight capacity and you're fine with not using a ramp, you may want to check out something like the Rocky Mounts guide rail, which has a faster process, but then no ramp. So pros and cons of the different bike racks. Hopefully this helped you out with seeing what is the right fit for you, your bikes, and your car. This was a look at the Hollywood Racks Destination E platform bike rack for electric bikes on the 2023 Cadillac XT4.